Hi, I'm Tracy. I'm a senior meditation teacher here at Looking Inwards. I'm here today to talk about a common affliction that students attend my meditation sessions for, anxiety. I see a lot of practices online for guided meditation, mine included, but wanted to fill in the gap with some discussion for your reflection and self-inquiry. A stepping stone to understanding your anxiety more through meditation. I hope this provides some theory to complement your mindfulness and meditation practice. I'm going to talk today about anxiety in 3 parts. 1, how meditation has changed my relationship to anxiety. 2, perspectives from the traditional meditation community on anxiety. And 3, my teaching perspective on anxiety. Here's a definition on anxiety from a psychological framework. It's a valuable foundation for this reflection because it is A, the most popular model to define understanding mental health afflictions in the West, and B, these models can be extremely useful, well-founded and researched understandings of our human psyche. So anxiety can be classified by the following symptoms: restlessness, fatigue, difficulty concentrating, irritability, muscle aches, and trouble sleeping. It's defined as the presence of excessive anxiety and worry about a variety of topics, events, or activities. From a meditative standpoint, this means excessive anxiety can be an eternal affliction that projects or externalizes, and sometimes it's irrelevant to what we are anxious about. So sometimes the anxiety we feel is prevalent regardless of our circumstances. I often encourage my students to ask, is it really this thing that I'm anxious or obsessed over, or is that irrelevant? Would I still feel this way if I took the thing, person, situation out of the equation? So an interesting statistic is only around 20% of people who have symptoms of anxiety seek treatment. That's an enlightening stat. It is also my experience that the majority of people who experience anxiety and perhaps many other mental health concerns don't seek support in a professional capacity. This emphasizes the need for widespread education and early education on mental health and well-being. I don't know anyone, student, friend, or family, who wasn't apprehensive of seeking treatment from a health professional. We tend to view our bodies and minds as machines with parts gone wrong, but we are more like ever-changing organisms, alive and organic, and we must learn to practice constant attention and adaptation and evolve with our bodies and minds as they are a part of reality. So Jack Cornfield says, let your body have its own life, which I think is a really beautiful quote on stepping back into awareness and letting your body and your mind be part of reality, the reality that you can't control or influence all the time. So this information was from an article by Professor Deborah R. Glossofer on Very Well Mind, which I will link in the description. So firstly, how meditation has changed my relationship to anxiety. For myself personally, I came to meditation during university where I was experiencing heightened academic anxiety, something that students often come to my classes for now. I practiced with a teaching mentor, and eventually I went on to study more deeply with my meditation teacher and became trained in the still mind tradition. Having that one-on-one and small group experience was really necessary for me as I was highly anxious and in need of more support and mentoring. So meditation was the first thing I ever truly did to help my mental and overall health. Through it, I learned more about myself, my life, and my experience. Meditation helped me to learn to curb the anxiety response in my body and operate at a more relaxed level more of the time. So through the many tools and processes, I learned to reconnect with the breath and be more physically embodied, and I'm still learning. Over time, the most important thing I learned about anxiety was that feeling and being responsive to the world is normal and healthy. So I moved from feeling out of control and unable to regulate my emotions and stress to having a choice in how I felt in most situations. As it has been said, anxiety is normal and vital for our survival in life when it is in balance and not excessive. We need to feel a response in the body and the nervous system to the world around us. It means we are alive, it means the body and the nervous system are working and are intelligent and are giving feedback. It shows we're not asleep, not unconscious, not numb, not dead. What is challenging is when our anxiety is imbalanced and it's our primary response to things. If one feels anxious about a lot of things, if not everything, so for example, I'm someone who is sensitive, and without boundaries, support and tools, I can feel anxious, if not nervous, by nature. What I've found is that in my work, many people feel this way. Meditation has been life-changing for me in helping me manage anxiety, soften and even eradicate many of my anxious behaviours. And now meditation helps me embrace and live resiliently with all the aspects of myself. I'm also going to link a lovely interview with a social researcher named Karla McLaren on living healthily with emotions in the description as well. So number 2, what traditional meditation says about anxiety. In my lineage of the still mind meditation tradition, one learns that meditation is a practice of stillness, so silence and unguided, rather than solely guided or handheld meditation. So the teacher facilitating possesses an energy of calm or stillness within them, also called Shakti, and transmutes it through feeling, as well as sometimes discussion. Still mind meditation is outcome focused, and the outcome is to experience harmony with reality through a realism-based mindset, as opposed to a thought-based, goal-based, belief-based, ego-based life experience or mindset. So any meditation tradition practice is unique in that it's standalone and it's designed to be taken as a sole commitment without other teachings or influences alongside it. So when it comes to anxiety, Still Mind Meditation says, meditation and mindfulness must be used as a preventative practice, not just as an after-the-fact solution to pick up the pieces after an issue has arisen and passed already. We can incorporate principles of concentration, understanding, and love into every aspect of our lives, every chore, every moment, asking why has the anxiety arisen? So doing self-inquiry alongside your meditation practice can help prevent issues from arising and reduce the instances of anxiety that occur in your life. In an article on resilience by Swami Shantananda, she says whether you have personally a goal or not, the meditation state and the mindfulness state have to be free of goals. So if you come to meditate to help with anxiety, great. But remain open to the other experiences that might happen over time and to having your reason for meditating changed or completely transformed. Once we enter peace, we find that simply being still, simply being the witness and in awareness is enough. Our goals don't matter as much. So that is the meditation and mindfulness state. And I'll link that article on resilience in the description below. Still Mind Meditation also says that without finding the true cause for our difficulties, they will keep arising again and again. The father of my lineage, Bhagavan Nityananda, did not have any formal verbal teachings. Rather, he transmuted his peaceful energy and calm energy and self-realization through his presence. There are limited translations of things that he has said and taught in verbal teachings, and they are called the Chidakash Gita. Nityananda says, what is essential is keeping the mind steady for a moment by introversion. My interpretation of this is looking at oneself through a single focus. So whether that be the breath, physical sensation, a visualization, or a mantra, this helps to keep the mind steady and clear. Another wonderful teacher from my Still Mind lineage, Sarasvati Sully Dawson, talks about how our practices and rituals in daily life don't represent how grounded or peaceful we feel inside, and that perhaps we can view our rituals and practices and our meditation more as a reminder of the internal state of stillness that is our true nature and that is always present. Eventually, we would hope as a teacher that our students move into a place where this eternal peaceful state is something they experience more regularly, and that this is true for them. So lastly, Nityananda also said that we must know the cause and effect. Again, this causation behind our situation broadens the mind. So if we sit without knowledge of what is really happening in an anxious state, then we can attribute blame where it is not warranted, and we can think false or inaccurate things that are not facts about the situation. So by attributing causation, note that this is different to blame. This is contribution without judgment. By attributing causation, we can begin to dissolve our anxieties and act better in the future. And I'll also link the Chidakash Gita translations from Bhagavan Nityananda in the description below. 3. My teaching perspective on anxiety. Meditation can help familiarize us with our inner state and our difficulties, like anxiety. By normalizing our experience in a group context and creating understanding through repetitive practice within ourselves, one can come to accept anxiety in a new light, not as my anxiety and no one else's, or as I have anxiety and now I have to get rid of it, but seeing anxiety as a collective emotion felt by all humans. Meditation and mindfulness can lift one out of isolated individual traps of thinking into a more connected, universal collective thinking. I strongly advocate for a holistic approach to mental health with a variety of supports. An anxiety management plan is a key idea. We have one for bushfires in fire danger areas of Australia, such as where I live, and it's a great example of accepting the realities of life and something that could happen and having a plan for it. If anxiety is something that you experience often enough to be concerned about or watch this video, then asking yourself, what am I going to do to feel more in control the next time anxiety arises for me again? I encourage students in their approach to explore counselling or therapy, as well as looking at their lifestyle, their work, their commitments, their sleep, their diet, and their relationships and their living situation, and lastly but not least, how much time you spend in nature. So which meditation should you try first? Like anything, it should be intuitive to your own research and attractive to you, but here are my top 3 suggestions. A Learn to Meditate course would be an ideal start if you want to invest the money and the commitment, ideally in person, but online is great too, if it's an interactive group course. Following a step-by-step book or program. These are full of in-depth information, very immersive and generally quite supportive. Choose a teacher that is self-inquiry based and contemplative, non-devotional if you can. The teachings also should have clear outcomes and are realistic, heart-centered and non-egoic, such as living peacefully with your community, creating more love and calm in your life, and outcomes that focus on a deeper human purpose will give you the most benefit, as opposed to courses that have outcomes with superficial benefits, which lack a little bit of heart and soul, in my opinion. The choice is yours and you should go with what attracts you. Be prepared to commit yourself to one modality and let yourself be challenged. Hone your intuition through this process and be open to trying a few styles and ways of learning meditation before finding one that fits. I hope your journey in meditation is a revealing one and that you learn more about yourself and the world around you, and you discover space and stillness inside yourself, and that you realize the lovability of all things and beings and reality. And most importantly, approaching anxiety and managing difficulties in life with meditation by beginning to control what you do have control over, and developing understanding just one thing at a time. I think we can begin by asking ourselves, is what I'm reaching for right now really what I need? As one teacher I knew once said, do I really want this Ferrero Rocher, or does it represent something else? Alright, thanks. All the best with your practice. Bye.